team. In each occasion, it was against you. So many talented players tonight. Foul trouble, always a potential determining factor. And this time, Thabit won the tip back to A.J. Price.
Sean McDonough, Jay Billis, Pittsburgh goes. Minute.
With Levance Fields guarding Price.
There's a play we saw them working on today, Jay. The double high ball screen. And Jay mentioned the switch. Biggs was the guy on the beat. That time he counters at the other end with a deep contribution.
I think we're going to see Pittsburgh try to move Hasheem Thabit around on the court using whoever he is guarding with run-out ball screens. So you can't let him catch it there.
Not too tough. They fumbled the pass, not like him.
Austrie missed a floater, and Blair another rebound. He's second in the Big East in rebounding, over 12 per game. Only Aaron Goby of Notre Dame with more. Jermaine Dixon a miss. And Robinson started Price the other way.
And you need easy baskets, quick ones before Thabit gets down. That's what Pitt tried to do that last trip.
You just don't want to force bad ones. You cannot let him catch it there.
Biggs fouls on a reach in. 2 minutes into the ball game, our first foul.
When Thabit gets a foot in the paint or gets a piece of the paint, he is much harder to deal with. You've got to push him out of that lane, get contact with him, and keep that contact, and push him off the lane, make him catch a step further where he has to make a post move.
Now, did you learn that after Sampson or after Robinson or after both?
I'm still trying to clear my head from how hard Ralph Sampson dunked on me when I was playing.
You have some interesting thoughts, though, about how to play a guy like that.
I think you have to keep contact with him all the time. Get an arm bar into his hip and push him off the lane, because once you catch it inside the lane, you really don't have to make a post move. You just power it up.
1 out of 2 for Thabit, celebrating his 22nd birthday today. He did not start playing basketball until he was 16 years old. Grew up playing soccer in his native Tanzania, so they believe, particularly on offense, there's a lot of upside as he continues to learn how to play. That's a deep 2 for Sam Young.
And you mentioned the referees. They could have called an offensive foul on Blair that trip. They let it go.
Illegal screen.
Yeah, moving.
You know what's interesting? I think Sam Young is a real key to this ball game for Pittsburgh, because I don't think there's a good matchup for him defensively. If he's aggressive, looks for openings, he's going to score some points in this one.
Robinson's got to contribute at both ends for that reason.
Thabit, you can see Blair very careful not to foul. In the 2 losses for Pittsburgh, he's been in foul trouble in both. And Young with another deep jumper. That one is a 3 for Sam Young, the senior from Clinton, Maryland, who came back for his senior year to play in games like this one.
And Thabit never got down the floor. Twice now they pushed the ball, gotten great opportunities.
Well, when Thabit caught the ball there, Blair didn't let him have an angle. He made him shoot over. And that's what I was saying. If you don't let him dunk, he only shoots 48% on other shots.
Adrian forced to take a tough shot. Good defense by Tyrell Biggs. Ooh. And Thabit goes flying over the back of Blair. And he is down and clutching at his arm.
You think Blair is strong? Oh, holy cow.
Now that's a physical basketball play.
And look.
He just ripped the ball at the end of this. Unfortunately for Thabit, you can see the arms
He
in there.
almost broke his arm. I mean, look at that. That is something else. He goes after it with both hands, and Thabit he just grabbed his arm. I mean, he had his arm grabbed.
Well, let's hope he didn't break his arm. I mean, he has been grasping at that left arm that was trapped within the body and arm of Dejuan Blair ever since he hit the floor.
Boy, that could have been bad.
Disastrous.
He still hasn't straightened his left arm since the play unfolded, and it was as quiet as it could be with a sellout crowd in here. The Husky fans already dealing with the reality that Jerome Dyson is gone for the year, and the loss of Thabit would be a lot bigger.
You know, when you grab like that, Jay, and the hand is in there, there's no way you realize the guy's going to come tumbling over your back. You know, it's just a great physical move. I don't think there was anything illegal at all.
No, but what I'm saying is you're not going to stick your hand in there again.
No.
You might not get it back.
Gavin Edwards is in, and he did a good job defending Blair. Rebound, Adrian.
How about Adrian? They're going to block the shot, but still recovering for that rebound. That was big time.
Nice step in by Young.
Young is the key player for Pittsburgh.
And he's off to a very good start to 5 of their 8 points. Foul on Young as he went over the back on the rebounding action after the miss by Levance Fields. Levance Fields has shot only 32% from the field on the road this year as compared to 50 at home. You saw Thabit flexing his arm on the bench.
You know, that's not a Fields type of shot. They can run their offense now without Thabit. They can get better things. They can always get that shot late in the sequence. Ever ready in the game now. Must be tough kid.
Pittsburgh not nearly as good of a defensive team as they have been. They are allowing teams to shoot a better percentage. Where they're better this year is offensively. A much more efficient offensive team.
He's efficient down here, I think.
Adrian missed the jump hook. Rebound for Blair. His fourth already. Kemba Walker is in off the Connecticut bench, a guard, number 15. Oh, the call for a walk.
He's got to go up right away when he catches the ball there.
Timeout. 15 block shots in Big East Conference games only. Jim Boeheim, the Syracuse coach, says he is the greatest shot blocker in the history of the Big East. And not long ago, we spoke with Hashim about blocking shots.
Blocking shots is like telling them, don't come back. You know, they're going to come back, you're going to block it again. Every time they come to the paint, they see you, they're going to make a U-turn, or they're going to end up taking a bad shot.
Is that the way you felt? Did you not come back on occasion?
I made U-turns on anybody.
But it's amazing. I think his patience has been the most interesting thing about his development as a shot blocker. He's very, very patient and waits for the offensive player to leave the floor before he commits himself. But that was an incredible strength play. Look at what's on his arms. I'm not sure whether those are sweatbands or headbands.
Keeping the muscles together.
The report from the Connecticut bench is Thabit will come back. He's not on the floor at the moment. UConn ball down by 5, nearly 5 minutes played.
Of course, there was some rumor that Sampson just played a one-man zone back there and blocked other people's shots, not yours.
A.J. Price, a deep three.
Price is their best three-point shooter, but he's also the guy that takes the big shots and makes the big shots.
If this comes down to the end, the ball will be in the hands of A.J. Price.
Cross screen on the bottom, trying to load up. They miss Blair.
The beat still watching, and Sam Young again, this time a baseline jumper. 7 points for Sam Young.
Tough shot under duress.
When he gets his mitts on it, nobody's taking it away. Good outlet.
Carves such a great area. Nice run by Dixon.
And Jermaine Kudin-Feski's looked to counter after the rebound by Robinson. Price, a little bump from Blair. The crowd wanted a foul. Dixon's ahead of the field.
They do take opportunity breaks, but tonight in particular taking advantage. Even though Thabit's not on the floor, they're sneaking out and taking advantage.
Well, Blair got away with the foul. That was a clear foul on the drive by A.J. Price.
One big difference from this Pittsburgh team to what we've seen in recent years. They're better in transition and clearly making more of an effort to get out and run, particularly tonight before Connecticut can set up that shot blocking half-court defense. Adrian called for the travel, and Hashim Thabit is going to check back in to the delight of the sellout crowd.
Now, you never like to see anything like that happen, but it's good to see him back. Probably hyperextended, if anything.
He was out of the game for 3 minutes. Pittsburgh ball leading by 6. Brad Wanamaker with the ball in off their bench, and Gilbert Brown, number 11, is also a sub for Jamie Dixon.
Gilbert Brown, a terrific athlete, really good finisher.
Wanamaker feeds the post nicely.
Young clearly engaged early, a little bit long with the jumper, and Adrian tapped the rebound to himself. He collided with Blair. They were roommates together last summer in Arizona, the Amari Stoudemire skills camp. They're good pals. Walker, acrobatic move along the baseline.
Great cut to set it up, and a wonderful look. A little pirouette at the 10.
Jarring screen set by Blair. He knocked Walker to the deck, and Young was open. He has 10 points now.
Well, they're trying to move Hashim Thabit around on the floor, and Blair is going to be involved in a lot of run-out ball screens.
Nice play and the slip. pays dividends. No one at home deep.
Yeah, I don't think you can guard a ball screen that way with Hasheem Thabeet. I think you've got to stay connected to him and keep him from rolling to the basket. Dunks and free throws are his whole game.
And Jay, nobody in the back collected in a zone for Pitt. Seldom does that happen. They're very alert defensively.
First bucket of the night for Thabeet. Gilbert Brown traveled. Sophomore from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Second Pittsburgh turnover.
Now watch Blair here jumping out. Nobody comes over. And I think you got to stay connected to him. If they let the little guy turn the corner and then help in that regard. But you can't just jump out and not recover without somebody switching.
I don't know why people don't go under until somebody makes a shot out there.
Or just stretch it out. But anytime you let him roll, get a piece of the paint, it's over. There's the switch, and they picked him up.
Gary McGee, who's deep in for Texas and Texas A&M. You'll see the 19th greatest play of the last 30 years. We'll reveal the #1 play on March 15th during the ACC Championship. There's Jerome Dyson had arthroscopic knee surgery today. Natalie attired and over by the Husky bench.
Tough to sit there for him. And they got the offensive foul.
Now they got McGee running over Craig Austria on that little back pick. All they do is move Hasheem Thabeet up to the elbow, then they set a little diagonal upstream for him, a little back pick, and McGee just ran him over.
2 quickies by McGee, but they need some minutes for him down the stretch. Here goes number 3. Wow.
So he's not staying between Thabeet and the basket. Where a guy catches it, you got to be physical with him earlier than that, not just when the pass is in the air. But the problem with that isn't the fouls on McGee. It's that it moves Pittsburgh closer to the 1-and-1.
And now they play real small with Biggs playing Thabeet. He should really try and pin him and go to him.
Thabeet's done such a better job of widening out and taking up space when he's posting up.
And now it's Young with the back screen. And again, use him. Goodness.
Price dropped the pass. Then he held Wanamaker. Good call by Mike Kitts. Jamie Dixon wanted an intentional foul call. He will get the foul called on Price. His first and the Huskies' second. Stanley Robinson back in. Gary McGee, 3 fouls in under a minute for Pittsburgh, and he's back on their bench.
And Sean, the other end, Walker has an entry to Thabeet and goes the other way. That's inexperience. He's got to bring it down to take advantage. Young is guarding him.
Gilbert Brown to Brad Wanamaker.
Good pass.
Drive and a little bit too strong with the shot. But right there for the putback was Tyrell Biggs.
There's an example of Hasheem Thabeet coming over to block a shot and it opening up the offensive glass for Biggs. That's where a strength can become a weakness.
Nice pick.
And Walker and Thabeet is fouled from behind. Pittsburgh coached by Jamie Dixon, the 43-year-old native of Southern California, in his 6th season. Already 155 wins, fellas. With 6 more, he'll tie the legendary Everett Case of NC State for the most wins in college basketball history in the first 6 years of a career. There's a guy, in my opinion, Jamie Dixon, who hasn't gotten anywhere near enough credit for what he's done.
Well, that's the league, though. There's so many names when you think of the 2 gyms, Boeheim, and of course Calhoun here. But Chris, Everett Case started the Underground Railroad, not Frank McGuire, who was known for that at Carolina. Everett got a lot of New York kids to go to North Carolina State. A legend in the early days of the ACC. You're right about
Biggs was his second and the 16 foul. The officials look like they're going to let him play early. Maybe not so much lately. Gavin Edwards rebounds the miss by Ashton Gibbs.
Doesn't take those Jersey guys long to get one up, does it?
Gibbs is leading the Big East in 3-point field goal percentage, just under 50%.
Nice. Spacey.
Ashton Gibbs, freshman from West Orange, New Jersey, threw it over the head of Brad Wanamaker and out of bounds.
Wanamaker should have gone to the 3-point line. That was a wide open 3. Instead, he ran into the congestion, and there was a turnover.
So Levance Fields is going to come back in after the 3rd Pittsburgh turnover. Connecticut ball with Price and Walker the backcourt. Edwards, Thabit, and Robinson up front.
See, Blair's not even guarding Thabit. He just let him jump right in front of him.
And say goodnight usually.
Yeah, but if you don't let him dunk, he doesn't make those at a high percentage. You've got to make him shoot over, but you can't let him just jump in there. Like, he's not even guarding him. He just jumps right in front of him. You got to play him up the line and keep your arm bar on his hip.
Edwards can make that little 10-footer. They run some high-low. He ends up with that jumper.
Better job by Blair. Better job by Blair there.
That was a terrific denial. And look at the angle of Price's pass. Go to the forward, let him dump it down.
One dribble to the baseline, and you have a wide-open pass that leads the beat to the basket. Got to watch Stanley Robinson on this play here.
Walker.
Nice hands by Blair again. He does have some strength. Pushed the beat about 5 feet out.
He's second on the team in steals. He's got great feet and unbelievable hands.
Did you play anybody that size, smaller than you, that strong?
Ben Coleman was kind of like that, but Ben was 6'9".
Blair is listed at 6'7", 265. He lost about 10 pounds of fat. Thinks he's lighter on his feet this year. There's a reach-in foul on Wanamaker. And he thinks being a bit more svelte has helped him stay out of foul trouble. He said last year he'd get some lazy fouls as he was tired and would reach. This year, lighter on his feet, not so much.
Well, what Jay's saying, though, is you've got to be in a defensive stance and be away from the man. And that's where he gets in foul trouble. He lets the guy duck in, beg for the basketball. And I think we have a tendency to relax defensively, even though he's felt lucky.
Well, he hasn't been playing Thabit early enough. He needs to play him earlier and play him a little more up the line to keep him out of that lane. You got to be physical with him before the ball's being thrown in.
Jeff Adrian back in. 4 points for Kemba Walker. The crowd getting back into it. The Huskies within 4 now midway through the first half. Pittsburgh is over the limit in fouls. Connecticut can call for only 2. Connecticut commits fewer fouls, about 12 per game, than any team in the country.
There's that pump fake. Everybody bites on it.
Fields in trouble, then found Brown, who came to a wide open spot, got his own rebound. Robinson blocked it. Brown blocked by Adrian. And finally it's Dejuan Blair with the score.
Well, that's all because the beat was lifted wide open at the rim. That sequence ensued.
But it shows you why shot blocking isn't always that big of a problem. If you get it sent back at you, that means you're going to get some second chance opportunities.
Good reach in as they doubled in the low post, and Gilbert Brown stripped it. The lob for Young, beautifully executed from Levance Fields.
Running the floor, taking advantage early, and Levance, who drops them on you, brings that chagrin-type look on Jim Calhoun's countenance. How about this look, Jay?
Much more efficient is this team offensively and much more efficient in transition. They really run the ball.
Conscious effort to beat the beat down.
Danny Dixon says Fields is playing as well as any point guard in the country right now. And it's Super Tuesday, another big doubleheader at 7 Eastern. The Big Ten battle, 5th-ranked Michigan State faces 21st-ranked Purdue. The Boilermakers have won 17 of their last 18 Big Ten home games. And then at 9 Eastern time, the amazing scoring of Jody Meeks on display as Kentucky takes on Vanderbilt. It's Super Tuesday presented by KFC on ESPN. You just saw Kentucky over the weekend.
Very impressive defensively without Patterson. And that surprised a lot of people. Of course, when you have Jody Meeks, the quick feet, the setup, knockdown shot, penetration, they're playing pretty good.
Well, if Patterson doesn't play again, Meeks has to score at least 30 against Vanderbilt.
A.J. Price with the banker.
Nice use of the bounce. A little kiss at Amityville.
Pittsburgh's having a tough time staying in front of UConn's guards. They are breaking that defense down off the bounce.
5 points for Price. Some observers felt perhaps he tried to do too much against Seton Hall Saturday early in the game, knowing they were without Dyson. And a travel call as Levance Fields are actually got a timeout first before the walk. Jim Calhoun not happy that he got the timeout that he was requesting on his way to the floor.
Interesting the way they've lifted the beat too and gotten some counters underneath the rim. This is a well organized program right now.
Coached by the Hall of Famer Jim Calhoun. 2 wins away from 800 for his career. They're beginning their 3rd week, ranked #1 in the country. They've tied the best start through 25 games in school history. Their only loss was here at the XL Center to Georgetown. Had an 11-game winning streak to start the year, then the loss, and 13 in a row. Won since. The question is, can they sustain it without Dyson?
It's going to be interesting to see how the guards react, because Walker's going to get more minutes now. Can he handle him as a freshman? Can he play under control, make good decisions? Stanley Robinson, I think, is the biggest key to this team being successful, Jay. He's got to step his game up.
Yeah, and Craig Austrie is another guy that has to play well. Everybody is going to have to do a little bit more than they were doing otherwise. But I think you've noticed whenever there's a run-out ball screen, they're trying to keep them away from that screen, and that's going to be there all game long.
Lance Fields missed the open jumper, but the follow by Nasir Robinson, another deep bench player, freshman out of Chester, Pennsylvania, just into the game with his first bucket of the night.
May have been Fields out there. But interesting enough, Sean, was all the ball screen. You can see Thabit never really gets back and not concentrated on the checkout. Adrian Beaton, and he will take a little rest because of that.
Anybody that Thabit is guarding has to go out and set screens, especially ball screens, because there'll be nobody there to hedge. If he is there, he's away from the basket, and his shot blocking capability is neutralized.
A.J. Price at the line. After the first foul on Fields, it's a 1-and-1 on the 8th team foul of the half for Pittsburgh. Price made the first. He's 67% for the year from the line.
This has been a really efficient place for UConn to score, and that's been the free throw line.
All year long.
They are out shooting and outscoring their opponents from the free throw line, largely because they don't foul. This team does not foul.
12 a game. That's incredible when you think of it.
It's amazing.
They're not called. Maybe they foul.
Yeah, they have the fewest fouls per game, as we said earlier, of any team in the country. Thabit is the only Husky who's fouled out this year, and that was only once. Robinson called for the travel. He's enduring a very tough time. His 15-year-old brother Kareem was shot as an innocent bystander in the middle of the afternoon last week near their home in Chester, Pennsylvania. He was hospitalized for a day or two, and Nasir's family told him to stay in Pittsburgh. Jamie Dixon was ready to fly to Philadelphia with Nasir, but the family said no, Kareem's going to be fine. A.J. Price with a 3 that ignites the crowd. He has 10. Timeout Pittsburgh in a 3-point game.
Robinson made a key mistake defensively here. You never leave the ball, especially when it's in the hands of A.J. Price. Robinson switches out here and then leaves the ball. You cannot leave the ball, period.
And in a way, Dixon was at fault. He should have communicated, stay there, I got your guy.
This Thursday, catch a double dip of college basketball action. It's ESPN's Thursday Night Showcase, first at 7 Eastern Time. Number 9, Duke, taking on St. John's. The trip to the Northeast hasn't been friendly for your alma mater so far, Jay, after they lost last night at Boston College. At 9 Eastern, Wisconsin and Indiana in a Big Ten matchup. Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price on ESPN. We look at the tournament resume for Wisconsin. They won Saturday night on our Saturday night primetime telecast over Ohio State, their 4th win in a row.
Yeah, winning 4 in a row. They had lost 6 in a row before that, and a lot of people were opining that they were probably out of the NCAA tournament, but I think they are going to be in the field at the end of the day.
Their resume brought to you by the Ladders.
Oh, got to show it. Fake that pass.
Robinson knocked it out of bounds. It'll be Pittsburgh ball when we come back.
Presented by Cisco.
I was so tempted on Price's shot.
All right, Reese, thank you. A.J. Price, the last 7 points for Connecticut to get them within 3. Sam Young leading all scores. He has 12 on 5 out of 6 shooting.
Averages 18 points per game. He's really the matchup, Sean and Bill, that UConn doesn't really have an answer to. It's been a wash between Blair and Thabit. Thabit really hasn't done much. Offensively, hasn't blocked a shot yet. But Sam Young has been the guy that has really taken the offense to UConn.
And you notice in all of those replays, Thabit was not around the rim. They did it quickly, early in the offense, making great decisions.
Dejuan Blair has 2 points but 8 rebounds for Pittsburgh. Thabit 4 points, a rebound, no blocks yet. He's altered 2 shots. Jermaine Dixon guarded by A.J. Price. Blair left alone with Thabit, and he scored over the shot blocker.
And Thabit again, just like at the other end, didn't do his homework. A little duck in, and the big fella Lumen.
Well, that's how you have to attack him. When you come at him from the strong side, he's a weak side shot blocker. That's where he's really difficult to deal with.
Well, Thabit had the offensive rebound after Price missed the layup, and then Hashim lost it. Jermaine Dixon, boy, he got rattled from behind by Thabit. Now Thabit hits the floor.
How good is this? Your 7 foot and change prize. Alert!
And a rare turnover by Levance Fields, trying to set Gilbert Brown up for a lob. They connected 3 times Saturday against Cincinnati for Brown dunks.
I like the official. Eddie Hightower saying, keep your hands off to Blair.
Austrie with his first bucket. The elbow jumper for the senior from Stamford, Connecticut.
And Levance Fields just cannot get past Craig Austrie. He's done a great job of staying in front of him.
This is Pitt grinded out right now.
Yeah, that's not a good shot.
No, not that one.
You can get that shot any time in the shot clock.
Shooters get itchy, though, if they haven't had a little stroke in a while.
6 minutes to go. 3-point lead for Pittsburgh. Their largest lead was 8. Price. Thabit swatted it to Edwards. Levance Fields a little casual going after it. I think he thought it was a foregone conclusion. It was coming to him. He didn't factor in the long arm of Hashim Thabit.
Well, a lot of things lately Hashim has had his paws on. Hustling, scrapping.
You always talk about a player, does he rebound out of his area? And Hashim Thabit rebounding out of his area on that one.
Connecticut, by virtue of 13 straight wins, #1 for the 3rd week in a row. There have been 5 different #1 teams this year, including Pittsburgh, which occupied the top spot for 2 weeks. The Connecticut women also #1. This is the 5th different season that both the men and women have been ranked #1 at the same time. In the previous 4 years, one or the other or both won a national title. And of course, one of the big stories of the weekend, Duke up at Chestnut Hill, upset by Boston College. A big win for BC. Now on their tournament resume, wins over North Carolina and Duke.
And a winning record in the ACC. I think Boston College is looking at an NCAA tournament bid.
Amazing what Gino and Jim have been able to do with this school. Incredible. Both programs, top of the mark.
Dejuan Blair said, I am going to go right after Hashim Thabit, and he has lived up to that promise. 6 points for Blair, a sophomore from Pittsburgh, PA.
Leads the country in strength goals. Nothing pretty.
You just have to go right into his chest. You cannot allow a shot blocker any space.
Nice. I think Blair got that memo. Wanamaker again with good hands, but Pittsburgh wasn't able to steal it. Robinson to Price now with 10 to shoot and 5 minutes left in the half.
Same play we were talking about, Jay.
Robinson hasn't made a 3 this year. Now 0 for 13. Blair ripped it away. That is 10 rebounds in the half for Blair. Young missed the reverse dunk. Wanamaker for 3. Edwards knocked to the deck and fouled by Sam Young.
And what a great play by Fields. They didn't make it, but just a heads-up kick to the wing for an open look. All because Thabit wasn't there. How about this one, Jay?
Well, Blair taking away that space, going right into Thabit. And Thabit, it locks him to the floor. And that's the way you have to attack a shot blocker. Go right at him. People think you take it to the basket. That's not what we're talking about when we say attack a shot blocker. You have to go right in his chest, right into his chin, and take that space away.
And the foul on Young, his second, so he goes to the bench. He's Pittsburgh's leading scorer, the leading scorer in the game so far tonight with 12. And Gavin Edwards, the last 1-1 of the half. The next one will be the double bonus when Pittsburgh commits another foul.
Gavin's been getting more minutes and helping, up to 11 minutes a game.
Pittsburgh has got to keep UConn off the free throw line.
I think Jamie Dixon getting a little agitated that the fouls are 9-2 and his team hasn't shot a free throw yet, while Connecticut's 8 out of 10 from the line and within a point.
With the fouls were those 3 that McGee got all in succession with basically no time going off the clock.
And they're running the floor and getting early looks away. That's a tough one.
He can make that shot, and Blair makes the fadeaway, showing Thabit some variety. 8 points now for Dejuan Blair with another bucket. He'll have a double-double in the first half.
Blair's going to get a foul here if he's not careful.
He poked it away but couldn't get to the corner in time to save it. A lot of NBA scouts along press row here tonight.
He was just smiling at one of them. But the step back jack, a little fadeaway, teaching the big fella a lesson.
But before he fades away, he goes right into the chest and backs him off, kind of locks him to the floor, and then pivots and fades away. That was very well executed by Dejuan Blair.
The last Pittsburgh field goals, the last 3 of them have all been Blair guarded by Thabit and scoring with Thabit nearby.
You know who used to be great at that? 2 guys, Mark Aguirre and Adrian Danner. Just going right into your chest and then turning away for a little fadeaway.
Nice. Adrian pretty good at it as well. Strong drive and then missed the dunk.
Once again, to beat the last one down, they're going to get an open look and a rebound.
Wanamaker passed up an open 3 for a long 2, which he missed. 3 to tie for UConn.
Going to go with the beat that smaller guy in bigs.
Austria with Walker, Thabit, Adrian, and Price.
See, Blair's not playing Thabit right now. He's got to get into him physically.
Stagger on the left. They're really not running that diagonal cut to get Thabit to the box.
Tough shot by Price, and it rattles home. Connecticut within 1 as we approach 3 minutes left in the first half here in Hartford. Price leads the Huskies with 12.
Well, Blair wants the ball. He's going to have to make a good judgment now.
Again, 1-on-1 with Thabit, and again, undeterred, a double-double in the first half for Dejuan Blair.
He's got him right where he wants him now. He can move him away, can load up, switch hands around the rim, negates all that ability and length.
Well, Thabit is just playing behind Blair. He's not doing anything to discourage the pass in.
Air ball out of the corner from Price. 16 double-doubles this season for Dejuan Blair now. He sets a screen, and it's Biggs open for 3.
Oh, look at Blair work. That's a foul by Thabit. Got away with it.
And Blair's a little bit tired, too. That's when you get that foul. He's got to be very careful.
Walker into the lane. Rebound Fields, a little tap foul against Walker. Presented by Bud Light from the XL Center in downtown Hartford as rivalry week concludes. Presented by Cisco, 2 of the best teams in the country. First place in the Big East at stake. Eye toward #1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. And 2 of the best players in the country. And right now in our Star Watch update, Blair with the upper hand, the double-double with no fouls. And Thabit does not have a blocked shot.
Incredible when you think of it. Blair's been very astute in his analysis offensively. Here he goes locking him in. No. You're not going to get away with it twice.
Thabit now has a block shot, and he has another foul. Blair stayed with the play and scored.
See, instead of getting intimidated by a block shot or worrying about it, he went right at him again. This young man has a really high work rate.
How about the toughness, too, Jay?
After he tried to make that move and Thabit was right there, he probably should have given the ball up. But what's really impressive is after he gets a shot blocked, he goes and gets it. I mean, he goes and gets it himself. He's not worried about it. He just goes and attacks again.
Were you unable to go get it?
It was usually in the 4th row, so they had to get an usher to go get it.
There gets the bounce on the free throw. Thabit on the bench likely for the rest of the half with 2 fouls. The Pittsburgh starting front court now has 30 of their 34 points tonight. That was Pittsburgh's first free throw attempt of the night by Blair.
And this is where Adrian can do some damage. Likes to take over. Tough shot here. And pretty good defense and then a silly foul for an upperclassman.
Adrian's shot was blocked by Biggs and Blair, and then the foul called on Adrian, his first and the team's 5th. Tomorrow night it's Super Tuesday, the doubleheader, 7 Eastern, the Big Ten matchup. Michigan State up to number 5 in the poll just out today against number 21 Purdue. And then at 9 Eastern, an SEC showdown. Kentucky and Vanderbilt. We can't say this week no SEC teams in the top 25 because LSU moved into the poll after 5 weeks without an SEC team in the top 25.
Trent Johnson's done a great job. Bruce Spencer's playing well. This guy's playing great. Whatever you want, using the rim to ward off anybody. Blair dominating.
Well, ever since Sam Young went out, we've seen the intensity ratcheted up by Dejuan Blair.
Nice pass.
Austria to Gavin Edwards for the bucket. 1 minute to go in the first half. A 6-point lead for Pittsburgh.
That's retribution. They lifted Blair on that trip, Jay.
Yeah, just a poor job defensively by Blair. Lost vision, tried to hedge out, but didn't recover.
There's no threat out there. Just jack that one up.
Well, that was a shot when you've been playing well that you feel entitled. You know, and that was just a bad shot.
I never felt entitled, did you?
There is a difference of 4 seconds between the shot clock and game clock. Wonder if that was Blair trying to show all these NBA scouts a little bit of variety and range.
He showed him the range, but he can't hit it now.
He takes another JB and show him the bench.
Let him wonder, don't prove it.
3 to shoot. Price, a step back 3, and he made it at the shot clock buzzer.
I know he hurt his arm early. That was not himself, but they're going to have to go to him. If he establishes low post, get it inside.
Side by side, brought to you by Cars.com. Blair had 13 rebounds himself. The UConn team had 15 rebounds total. Young back in the game to start the second half. Sam got a second foul with 4:42 to go. Did not play the rest of the half. It's Levance Fields with the ball with Jermaine Dixon, Blair, Young, and Tyrell Biggs for Pittsburgh.
Pitt gave Connecticut some confidence at the end of the half. Let's see if it continues.
Young blocked by Stanley Robinson. Here's A.J. Price the other way. Greg Austrie for 3 and the tie.
Ever ready. Sticks it when you need it for UConn.
Well, that action against the grain. When Price drives, to come up the line, that is very difficult to guard.
That dribble, handoff, slap back.
Pittsburgh has led almost the entire game. This is only the second tie. The only UConn lead was at 2-0. Young got hammered, and that is the 3rd foul on Thabit.
Boy, what a challenge, and the great shot fake. Just jabbing, then that exaggerated shot fake, the most exaggerated in college basketball, and defenders go for it and go for it and go for it.
It's so tough to stay on the deck, but this is incredible. Athleticism. Gee.
Wow. You talk about challenging Hasheem Thabit. He has been challenged in every way that a shot blocker can be challenged.
Sam Young makes the first, and Thabit will come out of the ball game. Well, he started out. He thought Gavin Edwards was coming in for him, but Edwards is actually in for Stanley Robinson.
And they did take the wrong one out. George Blaney and Jim Calhoun trying to straighten it out. But Young, such an athlete. Remember that recruiting trip? We walked in, he did flips in the gym. They were telling us about.
Yeah, he's a gymnast.
It's incredible. Cartwheels. He's done it.
And how can a guy who's averaged 8 bill be underrated? But I think that Sam Young is underrated and underappreciated.
Underrated poet as well, by now.
Writes poetry. Sam Young has read some of his poetry at open mic nights around Pittsburgh, and that's his 3rd foul, and he didn't like the call.
You've been at a few open mic contests yourself there, Sean.
Not tonight.
Hard to find an open mic with you two alongside.
We're just here for support.
Young's going to continue to play with his 3 fouls. Austrie trying to turn the corner. Dixon is a very good defender, and Adrian is fouled by Tyrell Biggs.
A nice little sequence to get Adrian to the box, and an excellent delivery into the low post area.
Just a nice little cross screen. And you have really got, as a defender, to step in front of that cutter. Difficult to do in close quarters.
3 fouls now on Big, so 2 front court starters for Pittsburgh with 3 fouls here very early in the second half. Adrian makes the first free throw. Jeff is 66% for the year. He's a leading scorer for UConn, and as you see on the graphic, 22nd in the Big East. They are in first place with a very balanced scoring attack. 4 players average in double figures. Of course, one of them, Dyson, their second leading scorer at 13.2 per game, out for the rest of the year. That is the first point for Adrian as he went 1 out of 2 from the line.
That free throw line is such an important scoring area for UConn, but when they get there, they have got to knock free throws down.
And here come the whistles, apparently. They're in less than a minute and a half. Lots of fouls. Gavin Edwards called for this one. Already 2 team fouls on each team. Sam Young, the free throw shooter. Jim Calhoun, 2 wins away from 800 total. The win Saturday at Seton Hall was his 550th at Connecticut. 23rd year here after 14 at Northeastern University in Boston.
Amazing career in what he's built here at UConn.
And he got a lane violation. At Northeastern, though, Jay, he did a heck of a job. Got that team into the NCAA, happened to have him 1 year. A professional in this profession.
2 NCAA titles. Only Jim Boeheim has more wins in Big East Conference play. Called that foul on Blair. It's his first.
Just over aggressive on a free throw blocker.
I really hope the officials let him play as much as they can. And we came here to watch 2 of the best teams in the country, and some of the Big East games this year have been overwhelmed by nonstop whistles.
Well, I think they've done a great job here tonight.
The tone is a little, I don't know, makes you a little nervous here early in the second half. Austri, the miss, and the rebound down to Blair. The Panthers want to run.
And he runs right to the rim and begs for the ball. Well, he's in there for a week.
Beat on the bench. Adrian held his ground, and Blair still powered up a bucket.
Boy, it's like a sumo wrestling match.
I think of the same thing, chest to chest, belly to belly.
17 points for Dejuan Blair. His career high is 32. That was a week ago Saturday at DePaul.
Throw the ball inside. Adrian had Blair on his hip. He could have picked up a foul, though.
They got that cross screen early. Here's a rub for the open jumper.
Price missed, and Blair rebounded. 16 rebounds for Dejuan Blair.
Isn't it amazing, Sean? Every rebound he grabs with 2 hands. Rare he goes after it with just 1.
Steps here. Robinson traveled in the game because of the foul difficulty to Tyrell Biggs.
Blair posting up here, and that is body to body. A little contact there where Jeff Adrian brought that hand down. A lot of times that can be called a foul, but Blair stayed with it. He is undeterred and unfazed by contact.
The numbers we're seeing some of these great rebounders put up in recent days. The beat his 2020 game. Blake Griffin the other day. And now tonight, Dejuan Blair. Kemba Walker banks one home to make it a 2-point game again.
Now you opened the broadcast show talking about Dyson, and this is a kid who's going to have to play valuable minutes and get experience quickly. Here he gets a little chest bump on Fields.
Vance Fields is finding it very difficult to get around these UConn guards.
I think I'm going to get some earmuffs for the refs. The coaches are working hard on both benches, chatting.
Walker called for the foul, his second. Jerome Dyson, arthroscopic surgery today, out for the rest of the season. Already 3 fouls on each team here in the second half. If it evolves into a foul shooting contest, Connecticut's the better free throw shooting team. Young, that's a 3.
Yeah, look who had to come out and play him, Edwards.
Just
nice little bump.
Yeah, just too easy on the catch. You can't allow a wide open shot like that.
Walker. And the rebound down to Blair. Ian Wanamaker went after, but Dejuan made sure he got his 17th board of the night.
Yeah, they can run their stuff now. Not the deep threat in there. That should be... I thought he got there.
He was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
What quick feed.
Amazing feed.
The key to defense are moving the legs. And he was up in the air. I think he was up in the air.
You're right. He was moving.
Yeah. We get a second shot, so you can't argue with it.
Pretty darn close, but a heck of a play by Kemba Walker. But I think that ultimately was the right call.
3 fouls on Walker, so he goes out. Stanley Robinson back in.
Well, they are running those sets beautifully. Look at this.
Gavin Edwards says, I can do what Hasheem Thabeet can do.
It can be contagious.
Price shut off on good defense by Gilbert Brown, although Calhoun up off the bench, he wanted a foul called on Brown.
And Calhoun also wanted him to go into the box area. Now he's in a good position, should have kicked it out.
They are making him take some tough shots. Make some of these UConn bigs shoot over you instead of giving them an angle to the basket. You've got a chance.
Fields called for palming the ball. Very demonstrative call by Ed Hightower.
Here being guarded by Gavin Edwards. Now watch, Edwards is going to go underneath this double screen. That is too long of a run for him. Instead of just locking and staying with Young, Young just shoots out to the wing, gets a wide open three, taking advantage of that mismatch. And Gavin Edwards just not used to guarding a player like Sam Young.
They do run some nice stuff, but that was simple.
Young has 18, Blair has 17. And Tyrell Biggs, the other starting front court player, has 5. So they have combined the starting front court for 40 of Pittsburgh's 44 points. Levance Fields has not scored tonight for the Panthers.
Blair-Adrian matchup. I would go to the big fella Adrian at some point just to do some damage to the wide body.
Hasheem Thabeet still on the bench for UConn with 3 fouls.
Everybody's so well scattered. The single double handled.
Young could have picked up the 4th there.
Austrie missed the 3. And Young up there to snatch it.
Well, if Blair doesn't get it, Young makes sure. Big time gather.
Field swatted out of bounds by Jeff Adrian.
Well, you've got to explode to the rim in order to get a shot off when you've got a weak side shot blocker coming over. I thought he should have thrown it back on the pick and pop to Young. Young was wide open.
You know who else was open? Was Blair on the box, too. I thought he could have slipped it to him. Same play, same result. Not quite.
Adrian, the rebound. UConn now has 6 blocked shots tonight, only 1 of them by Thabeet. Price inside. Adrian scores over Dejuan Blair.
He does not want to get another foul. Just keep riding the big fella.
First field goal for Adrian. Their leading scorer, averaging 14 a game, has only 3 tonight. It's a 3-point game, 14 and a half to go.
If you keep going at Dejuan Blair, you have a chance to wear him down.
Fields went by Austrie. Oh my goodness. Austrie called for a foul.
Yeah, that was sort of similar to what you were saying, Jay. Almost it wasn't a pick and pop guy, but just right here, the ability to lock your guy when you get him, seal him. Because that was pretty simple for Adrian.
He was just too slow getting back off that pick and roll defense.
Colin Austrie was his first. And Dejuan Blair now with 19 points.
Defense by UConn off out-of-bounds under situations has not been as good as it usually is.
It's a mystery almost.
What a sell.
A nice gamble by Blair, and then the juggling act.
Thabeet's going to come back in after Adrian lost the pass. Gibbs the miss. Blair the offensive rebound. Edwards helped to defend from behind. Rebound Adrian.
He worked so hard. That was probably a shot he shouldn't have taken, should have kicked it back out. But when you work that hard to get the ball, it's hard to quarrel with.
Nice pass, and Blair very slow recovering on his show. And the smart, intelligent move by Adrian.
Blair was expecting somebody to switch off and help.
They usually zone that back, and they didn't.
Timeout pitted by the 4th matchup this year between 2 teams in the top 5 in the country. That is the most top 5 matchups since ESPN began its poll in 1997-98. And so much at stake here tonight. First place on the line in the Big East. Connecticut, the only conference squad with 1 loss in league play. But 3 teams right behind them. 2 defeats apiece in Big East. So you have the Big East race. There's one backdrop tonight. And the quest for a #1 seed. Both of these teams in that conversation right now. As a matter of fact, our bracketologist Bill Lenardi believes if the tournament began today, they would both be #1 seeds along with Oklahoma and North Carolina. Brad Wanamaker running the point. Levance Fields on the bench for a moment for Pittsburgh. Ashton Gibbs trying to hand it off to Biggs. The beat got in the way, and then he gave it back to Biggs. Brown the miss. The beat fouled this time by Biggs, and that's his 4th. He just came back into the game with 3 fouls. And within seconds has a 4th.
Boy, you really got to squeeze the ball around Pitt. I mean, we didn't bring it down as you frequently see big guys do, but you can.
Pittsburgh was in way too much of a hurry on that offensive possession.
On the floor right now, and Wanamaker, Brown, and Gibbs.
There's a little cross screen to get the beat to the box. Now use them.
It's Price, Austrie, Thabit, Adrian, and Robinson. The starting 5 on the floor now for Connecticut. Adrian strong down the lane with Young right on him. He still managed to score.
And backing up was Young. Great penetration.
Blair, one of only 2 starters on the floor for Pitt. Young is the other. Young for 3 to quiet the crowd.
Wow.
He cannot leave the ball.
He is tough to boot. There's some serious breakdowns by UConn defensively.
What a game Sam Young is having. He is the one guy that nobody on this UConn team can really match up with successfully.
Yeah, if it's Adrian, he doesn't have the foot speed. If it's Robinson, not the strength.
11th game this season with 20 points or more for Sam Young. He has 21. He and Blair have combined for 40 of Pitt's 49 points.
And they zone it up in the back with Blair.
What you were talking about, Jay, they left the ball again for a moment, and Price had just enough room to bury a 3. Blair, a step-back air ball with Thabit guarding. A chance for the lead for Connecticut, and a whistle, and it's Thabit away from the ball. Apparently got tangled up with Blair, because as soon as Mike Kitts blew the whistle, both Thabit and Blair looked at him, wondering which one was going to be called for a foul, and it is the 4th on Hashim Thabit. If it's possible, Jim Calhoun had to be warned during the timeout to stop barking at Mike Kitts. He had good reason to as we look at the replay.
Just running down the floor, Hashim Thabit trying to bump Dejuan Blair at the free throw line. A pretty normal play for a big guy, and that call cannot be made.
Not at all. Not on this level. Very unfortunate. Now my concern for Calhoun is because he's been riding them pretty good, that he get a team. But that is just a reaction to a simple bump. Big East, it's nothing.
Yeah, you just cannot make that call. A little 2-2-1, 3/4 court pressure right now to slow the advance by UConn.
Way too many times this year, in my opinion, the Big East officials have overtaken the game. And there's already been more Connecticut fouls here in the second half. And there doesn't seem to be much of a difference in the way the game has been played. There was a noticeable difference from the start of the half in the way it was officiated.
What a blow by.
Wanamaker was stripped. Back the other way. Austrie missed it. Chance to give UConn their first lead since it was 2-0. And he missed an easy layup.
Pitt so good at counter punching. Oh, they're getting optics on. Now, people aren't sure what's going to be called.
Well, that was a good call. I mean, he dropped that shoulder and lowered it. He should have gone up right away when he grabbed that offensive rebound.
Just the second on Dejuan Blair, and no argument. I guess he steamrolled Adrian and immediately ran to the other end, accepting of the call.
Well, the defender is entitled to that space. You can't just lower your shoulder and dislodge the defender.
He doesn't have to touch you much to move you either.
20 rebounds now for Dejuan Blair. Price missed the three.
Gilbert Brown can get off the floor. What an athlete.
The beat after that very shaky fourth foul called against him on the bench.
The fourth foul was not a good one, but that certainly didn't neutralize him. He was neutralized before that.
Well, he has not had a good game, and it is because of the way Pittsburgh has attacked him.
Yeah, Blair has been phenomenal with a big philosophy of getting it out early and scoring and then lifting in the half-court set.
There's 20 rebounds, 2 away from his career high earlier this year, 22 against Notre Dame. Robinson kicks the ball. We're midway through the second half. 2 of the best teams in the country, with first place in the Big East at stake. Both teams eyeing a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Pittsburgh by 1, still by 1 as Wanamaker got his own miss.
Oh, going too deep. Got numbers.
Walker took it himself, and Connecticut leads for the first time since 2-0. Working on the freshman Walker. Blair the tip. Brown is too strong. Blair got hit in the face. He needs to come out of the game. He's heading right to their bench. Walker, no. Edwards stripped. Walker will pull it out. And Pittsburgh wants a timeout. Blair got hit in the face. He went to the bench. They were playing 4 defenders against 5.
Good officiating, though. They made sure there wasn't an attack at the rim. Make sure the play was right. They waited until the whole sequence finished, Sean. Oh, goodness.
On the left eye.
That's why guards never go underneath the rim. That's just a natural reaction in basketball. Not much sympathy.
Points, 21.
Not much sympathy in the building for him, was there?
He's still on the bench, towel over his face. Adrian into the lane, bodies fly. Robinson rattles one home. It's the largest lead of the night for Connecticut with 9 minutes to go. Pittsburgh, as you say, has just 1 timeout left. Jamie Dixon reluctant to use it here.
This is where you need Fields to step up, get them organized, and take some time in their offensive set. It should end up with Young at some point.
Pass, Kemba Walker. He has stayed right in front of him, and Fields has not been able to get around him.
Fields looking for his first points of the night. They crashed the offensive glass with Brown and Young. The officials, a moment's hesitation before deeming it Pittsburgh ball.
And your point about him not blowing by Fields, that is, Jay, he settled on that shot for that simple reason.
That was just a bad shot. He's frustrated.
He's 0 for 6 from the floor. Sam Young, the bucket.
If Pittsburgh could just play out of bounds underneath plays all night long, they'd have 100 points. They score every time.
UConn really doing a poor job by their standards.
23 for Young. That's a deep 2 for Robinson, and he banks it off.
A kiss in downtown Hartford to step up if they're going to do what they expect to do this year. Back screen pop.
Young for the tie. Long. Fields the offensive rebound. Dixon trying to tie it up. He's had a very quiet night. Battle for the ball. Adrian had it. Dixon got it back. And now it belongs to Press.
What a fight. Sounds like you're doing hockey. Incredible. Everything so valuable.
Young went for the steal and didn't get it. The elbow. Can Jamie Dixon wait for the media timeout that'll come on the next whistle? He will. Whistle away from the ball. Two officials have it. Tony Green and Mike Kitts making sure they saw the same thing. They nod at each other. And it's a Connecticut foul. It's on A.J. Price, his second. Connecticut's over the limit. For a while, it was the stars carrying this show. Now some of the role players stepping into the spotlight. It's a typical Big Monday in the Big East from downtown Hartford.
This weekend on ESPN America.
Stars on display tonight. The Pittsburgh Stars, Young and Blair, keeping them in the ball game. They have combined for 42 of Pittsburgh's 51 points tonight. On the night when Levance Fields has not scored. Momentum on the side of Connecticut. They have their largest lead, a 5-point edge. Tomorrow night on ESPN, it's Super Tuesday. The doubleheader starts at 7 with the Big Ten matchup, Michigan State and Purdue. And then at 9, Kentucky with the incredibly hot Jody Meeks against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Super Tuesday presented by KFC on ESPN.
And Sean, in tough games and situations like this, you love your seniors to step up. Jeff Adrian with that elbow jumper 3 years ago. None of us would believe he could make that. Now he's become a confident shooter, particularly at crunch time.
1-1 for Jermaine Dixon as Connecticut's over the limit. Pittsburgh's been called for 5 fouls in this half. And Dixon made the first. He's had a quiet night, averages 9 per game. Over the last 11 games, he's averaged more than 11 per contest. Makes both. Jamie Dixon squad down by 3. Dejuan Blair back in the game. Left for a moment after getting hit in the face with an elbow. Here's Kemba Walker, the freshman out of the Bronx, Rice High School.
There's that little diagonal they like to run to get Adrian to the box and a down screen. Didn't work for Austria.
The Beat still on the bench with 4 fouls. It's Walker, Austria, Robinson, Edwards, and Adrian. Austria wasn't really squared up. Blair, the rebound in traffic. His 22nd, tying his career high.
He's an absolute beast.
He blocks you off.
Field still has not scored. We mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, his shooting numbers are dramatically different home versus away. He's a much better shooter at home.
Well, that wasn't a good shot. It wasn't even off one pass.
He's getting away from running the team. That's what he's got to do.
He's got 5 assists tonight. Below his average. Still a long way to go. Over 6 minutes. When will Jim Calhoun come back with the beat?
Need to, as long as he's ahead.
I would wait as long as you're in control.
Not gonna have the rhythm anyway.
Austria down the lane with a shot clock running out. And it's a violation. Jim Calhoun is saying Austria's shot hit the officials will huddle.
Left of the rim, it looked like, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think live it hit the rim. I think it's just wide left the whole way.
Yeah, it didn't hit the rim.
The officials have now gone over to the monitor.
You notice Edwards got that ball in the foul line in practice yesterday. He took that jumper and was making them.
Yes.
That did not hit the rim.
Yeah.
That's a great look from our director, Chip Dean, our producer, Bo Garrett, and our outstanding ESPN crew of production personnel and technicians.
Shot clock
violation. And even though the call went his way, Jamie Dixon's upset.
These guys both like to take their shots when the opportunity presents itself.
And tonight the opportunities apparently have been there for both coaches to take their shots from the opening tip.
Just blowing off a little steam.
They're just fighting for a lead. presence.
Sometimes you wonder if you can score inside against Connecticut. Pitt has tonight. They haven't gotten anything from the perimeter, but why change when it's working so well near the bucket? Dejuan Blair, another 2 and a chance to tie it.
And Jay, there's no way this should happen. That length of a pass, they're not harassing the passer. Also, not in the proper position with the footwork. And this kid's just so smart, too. Plus, he discards you in a legal fashion and steps to the ball.
Jeff Adrian just didn't move as the ball moved to adjust his position. You can't allow your man on the weak side just to duck into the lane like that.
Blair ties the game. Second foul on Adrian. Here comes the beat. Back in with 5:44 to go. About 5 minutes on the bench.
And the first thing you do is go straight at him.
As soon as Pittsburgh gets the ball, it's got to go to Blair and go straight at Hasheem Thabeet.
He has 4 fouls. Walker stop and go move. They need him to step in for Dyson. He's doing it nicely.
Yeah, this kid's got some talent. Just about learning the ropes in this league. 21 points against St. John's back in the Garden. It was like home for him.
And this game developing into exactly what you would expect from these two teams. Blair traveling. One little hot take.
And Jamie's got to be careful. Holding your ground pretty good, huh? Got to bring a little more with the big fella, Lumen.
Dixon wanted the 5th foul on Thabeet. 5 minutes to go. Connecticut with the ball in a 2-point lead. They have Walker, the freshman, running the show with A.J. Price playing off the ball.
And thus far, Fields hasn't been able to stay in front of Walker. He's been able to get around him and essentially play 5-on-4.
They go underneath.
Robinson for his first 3 of the year. Rescued by Fields. 2 to tie, 3 for the lead. Dixon wants the lead. Dixon has the lead for Pittsburgh.
Nice ball movement back and forth. 2-on-1. Sensational.
Timeout. Connecticut. Quiet night for Jermaine Dixon, but that was a loud noise at the most opportune time for the Pitt Panthers.
Now this team knows how to take advantage. They got numbers, they got decisions either side. Now you put Robinson on a string, yo-yo him. A little nylon from deep by the southpaw.
And just a slow reaction by Kemba Walker when the pass was made to the corner and Robinson had to cover it. That's a rotation that Walker has got to make.
Thursday night, it's a double dip of college basketball action. Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price on ESPN, 7 Eastern time. Number 9 Duke scuffling a bit lately, taking on the St. John's Red Storm. The number 9 was at 9 Eastern. Wisconsin trying to enhance its NCAA tournament resume against Indiana in the Big Ten matchup. Pittsburgh looking for its first win ever against the top-ranked team in the country. The last 3 times they played number 1, it's always been Connecticut. They have an 8-2 run, entering a 17-5 UConn run.
Now Robinson's got to get better shots. He's got to play for 2-point shots. As you mentioned, I believe 0 for 14 now with that last miss from deep. Get a middle game.
Jamie Dixon seems amused that the officials are allowing this conversation to go on as long as it is. Now he's less than amused.
Dixon's got to be careful. Give him a little space. Can't score from there.
Dixon all over Price. And on him for too long.
Now you've got to have great speed to keep up with these kids. Extraordinary ability to blow by you, even though Dixon got fouled.
Dixon's 6th team foul, so the next one puts the Panthers over the limit. They've done a good job of not fouling after they had 3 very quick fouls beginning of the half.
Nice cross screen. Pretty play.
And Adrian got the roll. Connecticut by 1 as we tick down to 4 minutes remaining here in Hartford. 11 points for Adrian, all in the second half.
They get the lock low.
Young down the lane. Young is fouled.
Well, they isolate you beautifully, don't they? Little post rub to get Young to the corner, and then the lock low by Blair, the blow by Young.
Colin Robinson is his first. Well, from the beginning, it's been a typical physical night in the Big East.
Foul problems, and the best way to eliminate that is to be in the right position defensively.
Right now for Blair, he doesn't have to worry about fouls. He's only got 2. The issue with fouls, you don't want to put UConn at the free throw line. But Thabit is the guy that's got to worry a little bit because he's got 4. And I think Pittsburgh can continue to go inside to Dejuan Blair and give him opportunities to score or get fouled.
Young for the lead, makes both. Pitt by 1, nearing 3.5 minutes remaining. 5th lead change of the game. There have been 4 ties.
They get it to him.
Inside for the beat. Tried to dunk it. He was fouled.
He's a little upset with himself. Nice little call out of the timeout. He does a nice job of turning and presenting under the rim. The timing of the pass was excellent.
That's just a set that most teams call horns. They set little screens by the elbows and roll to the basket. And Sam Young had to come down from the opposite big to pick up that roll. He just got caught behind. When you let Hasheem Thabit catch it with 2 feet in the paint, you're in trouble.
And that's the 4th foul now on Sam Young. So he has 4. Tyrell Biggs has 4. Thabit has 4 for Connecticut. Hasheem missed the first and made the second. He's a 63% free throw shooter. We're tied at 61, 3:26 to go. Robinson back in.
UConn has to continue to go inside. You know that's where Pittsburgh wants to go, and UConn has to match that. Give it to him.
Fields, will this finally be the one? Yes! Levance Fields, his first points of the night.
This kid is tough. He's not having one of his better games, but he can stick it. Particularly down the stretch.
Now 1 for 8 from the field. Price looking for the tie. Tough shot and air ball, and last touch by Robinson.
Dixon did a tremendous job defensively. He really fights to put pressure on the ball and pressure on a shot.
How about on the catch? He was right there. And right here, we mentioned Fields not able to blow by, but he get caught behind. He just knows how to put that dagger in at the appropriate time.
Kemba Walker showing his youth, making some defensive mistakes.
Young to Fields. 2.5 minutes to go. The ball with Pittsburgh and a 3-point lead for the Panthers. Fields feeling it. Rolls home another.
Wow, some early onions.
How about Dejuan Blair clearing out everybody down that lane? The hard roll opened it up. And Fields took advantage of it. Here's the screen. Now watch the roll. Hard roll, and both Thabit and Austrie caught up guarding Blair, and that left Fields wide open. Very well run by Pittsburgh.
So he plays with a lot of confidence in the air. Checks the bench out. I'm your guy.
Levance Fields started the night 0 for his first 7. He's made his last 2. Both of them 3 balls to give Pittsburgh a 6-point lead with 2:20 to go. The senior from Brooklyn's played in a lot of big games for Pittsburgh. This one's another, and as usual, he is rising to the occasion.
And rising to the occasion now, I would do the same play. They get the big fella at the rim. Use the 2 high ball screens and get number 34 to beat to the basket.
That's what they're doing. Again, the switch.
Price stripped by Dixon. Long way to go yet, but if it comes down to it, Connecticut is not a team that leans heavily on the 3-point shot. Only St. John's has made fewer threes in the Big East this year than Connecticut.
There's better defense by Pitt on that play.
Adrian almost used the free arm for an offensive foul. Thabit did not get the bounce. Gilbert Brown the rebound. 2 minutes to go. Pittsburgh with a 6-point lead, looking at their first ever win against the #1 team in the country if they can finish the job.
Isn't it amazing when you don't let Hasheem Thabit dunk? He is limited offensively. Pittsburgh has done a great job of taking that away from him.
Look at this alert play.
by Kemba Walker, and Fields let him go. Didn't want to foul. Timeout, Jim Calhoun.
Talked about Walker gaining experience. You don't have to teach him how to guard. He gets the puppy set, and he's got the quick hands to deliver.
Much better on the ball than he is off the ball for obvious reasons. He's young and just reaches in with that right arm and not protecting the ball with his body was Levance Fields. A pretty smart move just to let him go and not foul.
Exactly.
UConn bench now with 18 points to just 2 for Pittsburgh. And you mentioned Jay and Bill, if the beat doesn't get a dunk, his offensive game is limited. He's only taken 4 shots tonight, 1 out of 4.
Well, they've done a good job of pushing him out of the lane and not allowing him to get 2 feet in the paint. And they are not allowing anything. When there's penetration, a lot of times what UConn likes to do is just lob that ball up to him, and they're keeping a body on him and keeping him away. And they've attacked him. They've also attacked him on the offensive end, which has taken his legs away a little bit.
It's eerily similar to a scouting report I heard about you. Back up. But right now, one thing that UConn does, they press, they 2-2-1 here, they get on the ball. Let's see if they trap, diamond press.
In a spot where they really would seem to miss Jerome Dyson, and the dependable scorer right now and a very good defender. Fields out there with Dixon, Young, Brown, and Blair. We mentioned earlier, Pittsburgh is one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the Big East.
Pitt trying to lift this team and bring the big guys out.
I would not let Fields get the ball back.
Fields is a decent free throw shooter, better than their average. He's at 73%. Has to shoot a deep 3 with the shot clock running out. The long rebound down to Brown. 1 minute to go, a full shot clock for Pittsburgh. And Fields lost it.
Nice play by Walker again. Terrific.
Where was he going? There was nowhere to go.
Now, this kid can rush into some things, but you're right. The floor general, this one should have brought the ball right back out to the top of the key and get organized.
Because he was turning to come back out, but he was turning into the defensive pressure.
And Walker's very good.
Second foul on Fields, 1-1 now. Stanley Robinson, 60% for the year. Junior from Birmingham has it pop out. Rebounded by Sam Young. And Fields is fouled. The Panthers, we mentioned, as a team, struggle from the free throw line. 65% for the year. That's 12th in the Big East.
That feels adequate, though. Over 70, Sean. Plus a gutsy kind of a kid.
4 fouls now on Kemba Walker. First free throw of the night for Levance Fields.
Only shooting 57% from the line in Big East play, though. Now, this is where you show your toughness.
I was just going to say, the numbers don't mean anything with this kid.
He's very streaky as a free throw shooter. He's now made 15 of his last 16.
On the road, late in the game, trying to protect the lead. This is a major league form of toughness.
Fields was in the witness protection program a while tonight, but he has scored the last 8 Pittsburgh points.
You're going to score quickly, so you need your quick hitters. They get one.
Can't allow Blair for 3. The beat. Swat it. Blair, the hit for Dixon.
Dejuan Blair has been the man of the match.
And now desperation time. Price jacked a 3. The beat goes crashing into the area behind the basket as he tried to save it and could not. 30 seconds to go, and Connecticut in a heap of trouble.
I'll give you an old name, Gus Johnson. How about the physical rebounding ability of this guy? He is a stud.
And he blocked that with the crook of his elbow.
And Thabit has just fouled out.
Number 34.
Well, Thabit had started to gain a lot of momentum when you talk about Big East Player of the Year and perhaps even National Player of the Year. The problem with Pittsburgh is that they have 3 guys, Fields, Young, and Blair. It's hard to argue who's the best player, the most valuable player on their team, but Dejuan Blair just inserted himself back into the Big East Player of the Year conversation.
Extraordinary.
Both he and Sam Young, wouldn't you say?
I would agree. You mentioned Young at the beginning of the show, how important he would be this evening. But the combination with the trio feels late. And Blair just, his presence continually during the course of this game.
And not to argue the point, but Big East Player of the Year, maybe. National Player of the Year, no way.
No. I mean, Blake Griffin of Oklahoma is far and away the best player in the country.
Well, you've been his agent all year long.
So you're representing him?
Because you're so
just because I have foresight?
Would you two agree with this? That maybe Blair, when he threw Thabit over his shoulder in a legal way, set the tone that we're here to play. Do you agree with that or not?
Yeah, tearing somebody's arm off. Pretty good message, didn't it?
He said, this isn't going to be easy, UConn. If you think you're going to win it.
And if this one stays in the win column for Pitt, it'll likely knock Connecticut out of the top spot in the poll.
Well, it's going to be a rotating position, I think, for teams throughout the year, because this isn't the last time I think either team will lose. But what an effort on the road by Pittsburgh, and especially Dejuan Blair.
So this bodes well for the NCAA. A little giveaway, stop the clock.
You know, what's interesting about this Pittsburgh team, I don't think Pittsburgh is as good defensively as they have been over the last several years. They are much better on the offensive end. The most efficient team in the country offensively, primarily because they don't turn the ball over and they get a lot of second shots. 40, they rebound to get second shots. That's amazing.
But they also can manage the clock. I mean, they get the breakouts a little bit more this year than in the past, but they understand how to set you up, how to punish you, and they got a pretty good out in the box in Blair.
But not a great shooting team. They have been making shots throughout Big East play, but I wouldn't call them a group of drop-dead great shooters.
I'll tell you what, that strength they have with Sam Young is a matchup difficulty, and Dejuan Blair dominating inside. It's truly impressive.
It's his second 2020 game of the year. He had 23 points, 22 rebounds against Notre Dame. On January 31st, he has 22 points and 23 rebounds tonight. He's our Sonic most valuable player of the game.
You know, he only had 10 rebounds in the second half.
What do you think those bands would be on my arm that he has? You think they'd drop right off?
You could use them as a belt.
I think I could fit around your mouth.
Oh,
that's the stretch.
It took you this long to get personal.
I don't think we can underestimate how important this win was for Pittsburgh. I mean, Sam Young with 25 points. They had no answer for him. But to come on the road and take on #1 and the most dominant shot blocker in college basketball today, along with Jarvis Bernardo of Mississippi State, and to neutralize him the way that Pittsburgh did is an amazing statement made by the Panthers.
Walker at the free throw line with 18 seconds to go. The 23 rebounds, by the way, is not the single game Pitt record. That's 26 rebounds, but it is the most ever by a Pitt player in a Big East game. Bill's old pal, the guy who made Bill famous, Jerome Lane, had 21 rebounds rather, against Connecticut back in 1987.
Send it home, Jerome. Well, this Pitt team, as you mentioned, they don't jump out at you. They just beat you.
I think they're a Final Four caliber team. I think they're going to have the kind of the run that Kansas had. Good team for a number of years, but the disappointment in the NCAA tournament, I really think this is going to be the year Pittsburgh gets over that next hurdle, because that's the next thing on the list for them now, getting past the Sweet 16. They haven't done it under Jamie Dixon.
I think mentally, just to get in there, get your legs under you. And they certainly have. Whoops, Adrian sort of showing his disdain for the result.
So the Big East race will be as wide open as it could possibly be as we head down the stretch. 4 teams now with 2 losses, including Pittsburgh. They will host DePaul, go to Providence against a very good veteran Friar team. They're at Seton Hall, a team that just won 5 in a row in the league, and then Marquette and Connecticut to close out the regular season. That game against UConn in Pittsburgh could be exceedingly meaningful.
Gauntlet of the Big East schedule. You wonder, is it going to toughen you up or is it going to wear you out?
Robinson the dunk. And it's going to be a meaningless explanation point for Connecticut. Foul committed by Adrian. Here's a look at the updated Big East standings. Pittsburgh with the win goes to 11-2 in conference. Connecticut has played more games than anybody in the league now with 14. They're 12-2. Marquette and Louisville very much alive in the race for the Big East regular season title.
And Sean, you mentioned this earlier. What a job Dixon has done. I mean, consistency out of the gate. 15, 16 wins in a row. Get into the Big East and be a It's just a viable contender every year.
Well, this is 8 straight years for Pittsburgh now with 20 or more overall wins and 10 or more league wins. The next longest streak along those lines in the Big East is Marquette with 4 2010 seasons in a row.
And Jamie, 6 years, 20-plus wins in those years as well. Just keeps grinding them out.
Now, A.J. Price has been grimacing and holding his left leg. Hope it's nothing, but
I think we saw tonight, Connecticut certainly does miss Jerome Dyson. Air ball from Austria at the buzzer.